What it do, guys? It's your boy Dream Team Neil.
And your boy Darn, we back with another video. Guys, y'all know we young. We young out here, young basketball fans, but we have somebody from the way back. I'm not sure how long ago way back, but I've always heard of Pistol Pete,
For sure.
but I never really seen him play. I never seen no
Yeah.
highlights really other than pictures. You know what I'm
Nah.
saying? But
Same. I think he got a movie. It's a movie out like dedicated to him
oh,
or
for
something
real?
like that. Yeah.
I'm about to check
I
that
think
out.
I'm pretty sure I seen it, but I never seen like just the highlight film of Pistol
Yeah.
Pete.
So we finna check this out. We see he went to LSU, never knew that. So
Me
this
neither.
gonna, this gonna be good, interesting. But y'all know what to do. Y'all hit that subscribe button, send down those recommendations, and we finna see how good was Pistol Pete Maravich actually.
Pete Maravich, better known as Pistol Pete, was one of the best NBA players of the 70s, a dribbling magician, outstanding shooter, and arguably the greatest NCAA player ever. Pete was playing a brand of basketball 40 years ahead of his time, and players today can't even do
He
some of
did
the
the
stuff
Rondo before
Pistol
the
did in the
Rondo.
70s.
I
Here's the career
I swear to God.
I
He
always thought
originated
Rondo
the move.
owned everything. I thought that was Rondo first.
Boy, he
When
had
I
that
first
joker
seen-
cuffed in his wrist nice too.
Boy.
retrospective of Pete Maravich and how his showmanship influenced future NBA stars, who stole a lot of their moves from the pistol.
Uh-oh. This is gonna be
Early
interesting.
life and the origin of the pistol. Pete Maravich was born in 1947, and basketball was in his blood. His father, Press, was a professional player for 2 years in the NBL and BAA, two leagues that merged and became the NBA in 1949. Press then started coaching, and because of his job, the Maravich family had to move a lot. The only constant for Press and his son Pete was basketball, which was a dish served for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. While Pete was only an infant, he already started dribbling, and by the age of 7, he started playing organized basketball. When Press Maravich coached at Clemson University, he would always bring Pete to practices and games, and the two would always talk about basketball in some shape or form. Pete would dribble the basketball on his way to school, while he rode on a bike, and even slept with the ball. At the age of 12, he was practicing up to 10 hours a day.
That sounds like the regular origin story of every hooper out here.
I swear to God. This man said at 12 he was practicing 10 hours a day, bro.
Bro, people ain't even working that long.
I
People ain't even working that long.
10 hours a god
Like,
damn.
we hooped a lot, but shoot, I don't remember
Not-
putting in 10, 12 hours of work
I don't remember no 10-hour days.
at all.
His father taught him the fundamentals, but Pete loved basketball so much that he started improvising, and countless hours in the gym all alone gave birth to some of the most spectacular moves the NBA has ever seen.
Yeah,
But more
he
on
was
that
doing
later.
everything,
As a freshman,
man.
I
Pete started
swear.
playing for Daniels High School in Clemson at the age of 14, but he barely played on a team filled with seniors. And even when Pete would come into the game, the older guys avoided passing him the ball. The
Dang.
crowd also laughed when they saw the small, skinny 14-year-old on the floor, which pissed the hell out of Pete. However, one single shot changed everything. Pete's team was down by 1 in the last seconds. Because he hardly ever had the ball, the opponents never guarded Maravich. So the Daniels coach decided to pass the ball to Pete. He got the open shot and made the game winner. And it was then that he received the nickname Pistol Pete. It was given to him by a reporter who noticed that when Pete shot towards the basket, it looked like he was pulling out a gun. The nickname remains, and the legend of the Pistol Pete was born. NCAA GOAT. After graduating from high school, Pete and his father decided that Pete should go to prep school for another year. Pete was 6'3" at the time, but he weighed just over 130 pounds and could not withstand physical duels at the college level. So he spent a year at the Edwards Military Academy, where he grew to 6'5" and bulked up to a respectable 160
I didn't even know he was that
which
tall.
improved his game tremendously. At the same time, his father, Press, got the head coaching job at Louisiana State, which was known for football, but had a minuscule basketball program. Press asked Pete to attend LSU and join him, which Pete bluntly rejected because he wanted to play for a renowned basketball college. However, after Press threatened to kick him out of the house, Press decided to join his father at LSU. Under his father's tutelage, Pete became a superstar and was
Boy, if you gonna go to LSU, you gonna be homeless.
I
gonna
swear
get
to
out of
God.
here. Okay, Dad.
That's tough, bro.
Okay, Dad, I'll go.
ain't got a choice.
Oh, if my dad the coach, I'm going there anyway. Cause
I would too.
might as well.
Set records that will likely never get broken. In his freshman year, he averaged 43.6 points per game. But because of the rules in the 70s,
Dang. He was cooking him.
What? That boy, this man, what was he doing to them?
They said freshman year, bro. 44 a game.
That's wild. People can barely do that in the NBA.
Oh, I swear.
People can barely average 20 in college.
That's what I'm saying. That's crazy.
Oh my
freshmen were not
gosh.
allowed to play on the varsity team. The crowd at LSU would often watch the freshman games and then leave once Pete's game was done and wasn't even
What in the
interested in
world?
watching the varsity team. Pete
Like
led the
Jay
freshmen to a
Z or
17-1 record that season, while the varsity team, led by Press, had a record of 3-23. In his sophomore year, Pete was able to play for the varsity team and immediately
colleges
asserted
had
himself
JV and
as the
varsity?
primary option on
Me
offense
neither.
with
Type of shot.
43.8 points on average. He was the
He's
NCAA's
still
top scorer
cooking.
that season, and he repeated that feat as a junior with 44.2 points, and as a senior with 44.5 points,
Oh my
along with 2
Lord.
National College Player of the Year
Bro, what in
awards.
the
In the 3
world?
years he spent on the varsity team, Pistol Pete scored 3,667 points in 83 games, averaging an incredible 44.2 points per game. He owns almost every NCAA scoring record to this day. And
Bro, if they had more games back then, my guy would have been up there past Kareem at this point.
Nobody would have scored more college
At
points
all.
than this man.
Oh my
That's
God.
crazy, bro.
That is
what's even more
wild.
impressive is that he broke all
Dang.
those records in the era without the three-point shot. Former LSU coach Dale Brown charted every shot Maravich scored. And because he shot many jumpers from long distances, Brown calculated that Pete would have averaged an astounding 57 points per game if his long jumpers counted as threes.
Dang.
A globetrotter in the NBA. Pistol Pete was the most known player in the
That's
country
crazy.
by the time he finished
That's
college, and he had plenty of options where to continue his career. He was contacted by half the ABA teams, many NBA teams, but also the Harlem Globetrotters, who offered Maravich $1 million to join them. Maravich dribbled the ball
They
like a
had that much money
globetrotter.
back
He shot
then?
the ball better than all of them, and he knew every basketball trick in the
said,
book.
"Forget the
Between the
league."
legs, behind
On
the back,
everything.
dribbling 2 balls at the same time,
What?
you name it. Pistol Pete was doing it. If he had joined the Globetrotters, he would have been the first white member, but he'd fit right in because of a unique skill set.
Hey.
However, his dream was to play in the NBA like his
Oh.
dad, and the pistol was selected with the 3rd pick by the Atlanta Hawks in the stacked 1970 NBA draft.
Third?
Who
In the
was all
rookie
in
season, Maravich was under tremendous.
Who was all in that draft? Like
Come
30?
on, man.
Man, average 50.
His whole college career. Who
Come
we
on.
taking at one?
You gotta get him at 1 at this point. He
I
averaging
gotta
50.
see who win that one.
Tremendous
On
pressure after
everything.
signing a contract worth nearly $2 million for 5 seasons. At the
Dang.
time, the largest contract in NBA history. However, he immediately proved that he is one of the best players in the world and that his big contract is justified. Maravich averaged 23.2 points and 4.4 assists per game as a
Dang.
rookie, which was the 8th best scoring output that season. The second season was supposed to confirm Pistol's superstar status,
know he played
but
for
he
Atlanta.
contracted mononucleosis, which caused him to lose 20 pounds. As a
Dang.
result, Pete missed 16 games, and the illness slowed him down to 19.3 points per game. But Pistol Pete would bounce
Still
back in his
good.
3rd season,
Oh,
averaging
everything.
26 points and 7 assists per game, making his first All-Star team. In his 4th and final season with the Hawks, Pete was the 2nd best scorer in the league with 27.7 points per game.
Dang.
But the Hawks played miserably and didn't even make the playoffs after 3 straight first-round playoff exits. We got the Jazz.
Now,
New
this
Orleans
is what I
Jazz
done
joined the
seen.
NBA in 1974, and in the expansion draft, they acquired Maravich from the Hawks for 2 players and 4 draft picks. By doing
Dang.
so, they signed the local hero, considering that the Jazz Arena was less than 100 miles away from LSU. Joining a newly established franchise is a double-edged sword, and Pete learned that the hard way. Yes, he was a beloved superstar, and all the fans wanted to see him play. But on the flip side, the New Orleans Jazz wasn't any good, just like most new teams aren't. The Jazz didn't make the playoffs until 1984, 5 seasons after Maravich left the team and their relocation to Utah. But even though he never made the playoffs, Pistol Pete was playing the basketball of his life with the Jazz. as one of the most unstoppable players in the league. He averaged 25.2 points and 5.6 assists in 5.5 seasons with the franchise, during which he led the NBA in scoring with 31 points per game in 1977, along with 3 All-Star appearances and 3 All-NBA nods. On February 5th, 1977, in a game against the New York Knicks, the Pistol scored 68 points, a career high, and at the time, the most points ever by a guard. The feat is even more...
That's crazy. I mean, shoot, did he play against Magic then?
I think they was in the 80s.
80s, that's more than 80s, so he probably was done by the 80s.
I think so.
That would have been good to watch. That would have been
been wild, I swear.
A career high, and at the time, the most points ever by a guard. The feat is even more impressive when we know that he was guarded by Walt Frazier, one of the premier defensive guards of the 70s, and that he scored 68 without a three-pointer. In 1978, Maravich played the best all-around season of his career, averaging 27 points, 6.7 assists, and a career-high 2 steals per game. He would have probably led the league in scoring once again, and likely even pushed the Jazz to the playoffs, but he unfortunately injured his knee halfway through the season and was forced to miss the final 32 games of the season.
That brace looked like it hurt. Dang.
I swear.
That looked like it cut his.
It's gonna break his knee some more.
Yeah.
Fortunately injured his knee halfway through the season and was forced to miss the final 32 games of the season. Before he got hurt, the Jazz had a winning record due to a 10-game win streak. After Maravich went down, they lost 8 in a row, and their playoff hopes were shot dead. Unfortunately for Maravich and the Jazz fans, knee injuries plagued Pete for the rest of his career, as he only played 2 more years in the NBA. After the Jazz moved to Salt Lake City in 1979, they traded Maravich mid-season to the Celtics, where he teamed up with rookie Larry Bird. It was the first NBA season with a three-point line, and Maravich immediately proved what kind of a shooter he was. The Pistol shot 67% for three in his final year. Bad knees that severely hampered his movement. Legacy.
Dang. I never knew he played with Larry.
Me neither. That's crazy.
He probably went to work on that three-point line now.
The Pistol shot 67% for 3 in his final year. Bad knees that severely hampered his movement. Legacy. Pistol Pete was a basketball savant, and he played basketball 30 or 40 years ahead of his time. At the time of his retirement, he had by far the best handles in NBA history, and many of the greatest ball handlers took many pages out of Pete's ball handling book. He was a trendsetter that inspired generations, and if your favorite ball handler didn't learn from the Pistol, they likely stole some moves from someone who stole from Pete. That LaMelo Ball underhand full-court pass, Maravich did that in the 70s.
Dang.
Magic Johnson's around-the-back defender freeze and then pass, Maravich did that too. Hook shot like Kareem, turnaround jumper like MJ, or readjusting his jump shot midair like Larry Bird. It was all routinely done by the Pistol. When he played the game, the NBA was dominated by centers like Wilt Chamberlain and Kareem. And guards like him were unicorns. Other than Jerry West, nobody else attempted that many jump shots, let alone made them with great accuracy. With an unbelievable floater and layup game, finishing with both hands, killer handles, and the ability to both score and pass. Pistol Pete is most often compared to Steve Nash, a guy who came to the NBA 16 years after Maravich retired. If he played in a three-point era, he would likely average around 30 points per game. And if he played in a better team, he could have easily been an MVP multiple times and won a few championships. However, Pete didn't have the best of luck in his career and life. In one interview in 1974, Pete said, "I don't want to play in the NBA for 10 years and then die of a heart attack at 40. But unfortunately, that's precisely what happened. His NBA career was cut short after 10 years due to knee injuries. And in 9 of 10 seasons, his teams had a losing record. And then in 1988, almost like he predicted it, he died of a heart attack at the age of 40 when he was playing pickup basketball. An autopsy revealed the cause of death to be a rare heart defect. He had been born with a missing left coronary artery. He lived for basketball, was a gym rat all his life, and ultimately died on the court. His last words were, "I feel great."
That's crazy.
I swear to God, bro.
I was just about to ask, is he still alive? Dang.
Bro, how do you predict your future like that, bro? Something up.
Hey, shoot. That's wild.
This man played exactly 10 years and died of a heart attack at exactly 40.
That's crazy. And while hooping, shoot. And maybe it wouldn't have happened if he wasn't hooping playing pickup. Man, that's wild, but
that is crazy.
Dang. But he definitely, I can definitely see everybody. He definitely has some inspiration.
Yeah.
And from all these new players that we got out here. I see they have a Dr. J. I need to see how good Dr. J was actually.
I be hearing lots of great things about Dr. J.
The only
He was
thing I
that
really
guy.
seen was that layup. That's the only
That
one.
layup.
Yeah. That's about it.
I feel that.
Well, guys, we definitely enjoyed this. We hope y'all enjoyed this. I'm still shocked he played with Larry Bird for a season.
Me
That
too.
shocked me right there.
I did not know.
So, but hey, that was good. Good, we got to see the older players. We young out here. We young, and we focus on who we see now, or the Kobe's of the world, the Allen Iversons, and the early 2000s. That's who we.
Yeah.
We jumping into the 80s and 70s and stuff. It's a different world now. Very different.
Very different.
But guys, that's all we have. Y'all hit that subscribe button. Send down those recommendations. Hey, we out of here.